Greetings and welcome back to the show. So today we're going to be talking about crow symbolism. I'm really excited about this one because I've been watching crows for some years now. Crows have a history of being persecuted along by witches, which is so synchronistic in a way because witches, I was talking with someone earlier and I was explaining that witches is actually a word that is wit, meaning witty, intelligence. It symbolizes a woman with high intelligence. Even in some days, women weren't allowed to read because men feared the intelligence that a woman would be able to hold and use against them. Not to say that she would, but men typically are, in those times, would be worried about these things, so they wouldn't allow women to read and would only focus on their beauty and cultivating more superficial things. So when we think about the crow, we think about the intelligence of a woman, the mysteries of a woman, the mysteries of the crow, also associated with black, which is in conjunction with Saturn in space as well, because just the mysteries of the unknown, not being able to see in front of you, not being able to know what is going to happen. So when we run into crows, it can represent mysteries, but it also can represent intelligence. It represents wisdom, magic, prophecy, inspiration, bravery, opportunities, insights, curiosity, playfulness, mischief, deception. It also can represent the shadow side. The crow can sometimes represent loss, and that's the magic of the crow because when we think about loss and we're thinking about silver lining and making making lemonade out of lemons, all of that is alchemy. When we talk about that in symbolically in alignment with what happens in our lives and what we have to do when we're going through a lot of things and being able to get the good juices out of the negative things that we're experiencing, being able to essentially symbolically use charcoal in our lives and extract clear water from these negative experiences. So when we think about the crow is like that. It's very intelligent and knows how to make the best out of its whatever it has. For instance, I saw something about the crow using getting nuts that it can't crack on its own and dropping them among concrete highways so that the cars can crack the nut for them so that they can eat the food that's inside. Also using sticks and tools to make homes or get food or larvae or whatever it wants to eat out of trees. Just very useful, very intelligent. The crow also holds grudges. It remembers things. So that's why if you notice, crows do not want to get near us usually, and that's because of the persecution that they experience that has been passed down in their DNA, and they remember. Just like us, the DNA it passes through, and we remember even if it's unconsciously. I do believe that crows are more tapped into the subconscious parts of their mind. So yeah, they remember. So there's that. Another thing about crows is that their lifespan is typically 7 years. Seven is a number of completion. It's also a number of God, perfection, um, mysteries, magic. Yeah, so when we think about the crow, the fact that its lifespan is even 7 years is very symbolic. They did say that there were reports of crows living up to 10 to 12, 10 being the alpha and the omega, 12 being the completion of the zodiac, the completion of a cycle, also a number of perfection and understanding and wisdom because it rules over the 12th mansion in the sky, being Pisces with the two fish representing duality. So these are the things that connect the crow to the understanding of everything that exists from the oneness that's born out of space, which is very dark. Another report of a crow living up to 16 years equaling out to seven. So when we go back to that, there's a common theme of the crow being associated with the seventh part of the sky representing Libra, which is also about balance, also about duality and duplicity. So that's why there's these two things about the crow. When you see the crow, or the symbolism behind the crow can be about loss and grief, about losing things, about ugly things. But it also can be about having the intelligence to be able to make the best out of negative situations. So because that's the duality of life, being able to take the ugliness and make something good, which we call alchemy, being able to up level yourself, and things like that. So the crow also has been reported, not just the crow, but the raven, because they're both in the corvid family, along with some other birds. But the crow and the raven are usually mixed. They have some of the same symbols, some of the same meanings. So we'll talk a little bit about the raven. The raven is typically bigger. Both birds are actually considered songbirds. That's why you always hear the birds crowing and things like that. Not to say that all birds crow that are songbirds. Not all birds sing that are songbirds. Some are silent. But the crow is not silent. It speaks up. So that's another thing about the crow. It has an aggressive nature, meaning it speaks up, it does what it wants, it says what it wants, and it does whatever it needs to do to get what it needs. So it also can be representative of aggression, because aggression is not always negative. Aggression is something that we need to be able to accomplish our goals and to be able to set forth new paths. We need that fire energy to be able to do those things. So another thing that's great about the crow and the raven, there has been reports actually of the raven interacting with wolves, playing with wolves, helping the wolves secure hunts, playing tug of war with the wolves using sticks, which is amazing, and also interacting with other animals. And the crow is just so intelligent. When you think about, I've witnessed myself the crow chase hawks and other bigger birds out of territories that they do not want them in, and they leave. They do not fight back. So when we talk about the crow, we're talking about power. We're talking about awareness. We're talking about intelligence and being able to solve puzzles, being able to solve your life's mystery and the things that are going on within your life, and taking the best out of negative situations. Going back to the fact that the crow is black, all animals were considered negative under the color black, because the color black is associated with mystery and typically associated with the devil, because Saturn is the planet of great limits and great oppression, that is actually usually self-imposed. So a lot of people need to look at themselves. But when we talk about the color black, it's associated with Saturn. When you go into places where courtrooms or kangaroo courts, which are not real courts, that are mocking courts, they wear black, and black is a color of authority because it's ruled by Saturn. Authority over the self, because it's all about self-mastery and discipline. And disciplines, when we think about disciplines, we think about Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, school, math, anything that you have to study or practice over time can be a discipline. Having discipline, all of that is a necessity in life to get the things that we want. And that is a word that is ruled by Saturn. Saturn also being the keeper of wealth as well. And also moving slow, and being able to make the best out of the cards that you've been dealt. So that pretty much wraps up the crow symbolism. I hope this helped. Let's just do a recap on the keywords. Wisdom, magic, intelligence when it comes to the crow, loss, deception, transformation. I didn't mention that. Mischief, deception, trickster, memory, playfulness, and most importantly, I think, intelligence, and alchemy. Thank you so much for listening. We did talk about the raven a little bit. So when you think about the crow and the raven, you can know that both of these animals are extremely healing. They're both in the corvid family. And if you're seeing that, whatever you're going through, it's about healing, even if it doesn't feel good. Much love, much peace, and much fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day.